Hey guys, it's 101 R Smith, and today we're going to be looking at one of the most polarizing, yet one of the most unique designs to ever come out of Gundam. The Turn A Gundam from Turn A Gundam. "23 years. The 1/100th Master Grade line of Gunpla has been around for 23 years as of 2018. And now we are on the cusp of the 200 Master Grade, the Master Grade Deep Striker. Though if we really want to be technical, it's technically the GM Command, but the Deep Striker was designed in order to celebrate the 200th Master Grade. Over 200 designs have been given to the mass market of us Gunpla modders to build since the 90s, each one with its hits or misses or innovations that bring the line further and further beyond what it was before. With the Deep Striker being the 200, I thought it was more than appropriate to go back and look at the 100th Master Grade. Let's go back to 2007. And here we have the Turn A Gundam. Again, one of the most polarizing yet original designs to ever come out of Gundam. This Gundam itself was designed by Sid Meier, the guy behind Blade Runner and Tron. Sid Meier worked with Tomino to design the Turn A Gundam, and after a couple of hits or misses, he decided to go with this design. Made for realism, but yet having an alien and very distinct look to it. I personally have yet to see Turn A Gundam. It's one of the very few Gundam animes that I have not watched. However, I was introduced with the Turn A Gundam through the Dynasty Warrior Gundam games growing up on the PS3. I always liked this look, and it was very distinct. And I'm happy to have it in the model kit. So let's see what's under the hood and what makes this thing one of the most unique and different mobile suit designs to ever come out of the world of Gundam. Let's open up the box and see what we have here. So we're opening up the box and we see that we have very distinct and unique runners, unique to the Turn A Gundam. It has your bright blue, red, yellow, some great clear yellow effect parts, and it actually has inner frame that's white that I haven't really seen in a lot of Gundam kits. Another thing to note here is this is one of the first Gundam kits to not use polycaps at all. The very first one was the F91, so the F91 came out the year before this, but no polycaps. This is all ABS plastic, so this thing is going to be stiff. Otherwise, it looks like your standard Master Grade, not a lot of runners, and I can see why it has a bit of a low price. It's going to look great, hopefully, but I highly suggest a lot of panel lining. You need to panel line this thing to look amazing. All built up, and now we have the Master Grade Turn A Gundam. This thing looks phenomenal. Again, it still has that alien look to it that is different, and the mustache itself really is going to make it pop out. However, there are a few things that you might need to paint on this kit. The little red dots on the thighs, that needs to be painted. I painted that with a Gundam marker. And the V logo, or the Turn A logo on its head and its back skirt, that needs to be painted too. They give you stickers, but I went to and used a metallic green Gundam marker. I just love the mesh look on the back of the legs and a lot of the panel line. That it is going to be a little bit of a chore to do, but it looks phenomenal, and it's so worth having all those panel lines just pop out and make the Turn A just stand out in your box. So, now that we have it built up, let's look at some of the articulation and see how a polycapless Gundam really moves. Alright, let's start at the head. The head can go up and down, but it's a little bit stiff due to the type of connection it has. It can go 360 degrees, but it's really hard to grasp with the head due to the mustache V-fin. Otherwise, you can move it alright, but it's just very stiff and hard to move at times. The arm can go about that high. And technically, it has the ability to go 360 degrees. However, due to the shoulder being connected to the torso, you're not going to get that far other than 180. You're going to get a beautiful double jointed elbow, but again, hampered by the shoulder armor. You're going to get some side to side and up and down at the waist. The front skirts can move on a hinge system. With the legs, they can go far out that high, and you're going to get a very beautiful double jointed knee bend that allows it to hit itself in the back of the thigh. And you get an extension on the shins as well. Now with the toe, again, you're going to get your standard tilt and downward. And that is the articulation of the Turn A Gundam. Now in terms of accessories, you do get a fair amount to go with, and it gives you a lot of options to go with as well. First off, you're going to start with this beam rifle, and it's anything but your average beam rifle. You can also use it as a cannon. However, I had struggled to hold up the cannon as posed in the manual. Next, you're going to get the shield, which is very reminiscent of Captain America's shield. It has a slight connection on the forearm, and you can hold it with the hand. The connection on the forearm is more than good enough. The holding it with the hand is a little bit of a struggle. You're going to get a pair of very thin beam saber effect parts, which are only for this kit. I have yet to see these types of beam effect parts being used on any other Gundam kit that I've seen. They're very thin, but they work well. Next up is my favorite accessory on the Turn A Gundam, and that is the Gundam Hammer. This thing holds up pretty well. It uses the tabs on the hands to hook up to the anchors, and the links on the chains are just long enough to slide through the Turn A's fingers. It looks menacing, and you could definitely use it as a weapon of choice. Finally, you're going to get these two little attachment pieces that are going to hook up to the back of the shoulder armor and the Turn A as well. They're going to be used to hook onto the back of the shield and the beam saber and hook onto the back of the Turn A. It works well, but you might need to adjust to counterbalance some of the weight issues. So, Bandai chose this, the Turn A Gundam, to be its 100th Master Grade after over 12 years of Master Grades at the time. How does it hold up to modern standards? It's great! However, there are a few little nitpicky issues here. First of all, I found that the front skirt armor was very difficult to put on. Every time that I moved the Turn A's legs, it would just fly off, and I would have to reattach it back to the cockpit. The hands were very difficult to use. The tabs are just a little bit too small for some of the weapons. It works for the beam saber and the Gundam Hammer. However, when it comes to the beam rifle, I had struggle and difficulty to be able to pose it in its cannon mode. No matter how hard I tried to hook on, whether it was with the expressive hands or the 3-1 finger hands that I had in this kit, I cannot get it to hold either in its cannon mode or to hold it in its suitcase mode. That was disappointing. However, this thing is just a very unique design. For God's sakes, you can open up the chest and it has nuclear warheads, and you can open up the chest, take them out, and put a freaking cow in it. What other Gundam can do that? This one. This design, it holds up very well. I love the fact that this had no polycaps. I was kind of nervous due to Sinanju issues, but nothing gets weak or too damaging. It holds, it's steady. One little thing that I wish this kit came out with out of the box was the Moonlight Butterfly. That is the signature of both the Turn A and Turn B. However, Bandai decided not to use those effect parts with this kit, which means I'm going to have to go through Bandai Army. I really think that if it had the effect parts for Moonlight Butterfly, this would be an easy sell, whether you even love or even hate the Turn A. The Turn A Gundam is a very unique Gundam. I am very happy to have it in my collection. It does have a few nitpicky problems, and the hands and some of the other issues do show its age and what era it came from, but this is a phenomenal looking kit and a great poser, and I recommend every single person get the Turn A Gundam. This is 101R Smith, and I will see you later. Peace!